Look at the fixing system that we're using on this site. So we've got a Redland double Roman tile, concrete tile, and that means we can use we like to use the Van der Valk equipment. So this is the Van der Valk Strongline portrait hook, or non-twist hook, so it's just a straight hook. If you wanted to do rails that were going vertically, this piece is twisted, but that's not the case on this section. So this is our rail as well. So this is our aluminium rail. This is a lot chunkier than pretty much all the rest on the market, which does mean that the panels sit up a little bit, but there is absolutely no bend in this rail. It is really, really strong. So we really like it for that. You'll notice on this hook, we've got what we call a T-bolt. Loads of people call them lots of different things, but we call them a T-bolt. Sometimes they're called a hammerhead bolt. But basically we've got a back nut on the other side, just on here, which is a 13mm nut. And we've also got a little position marker there, and that marks the position of the direction of this T-bolt. So we know that if we've got it that way around, it has locked the rail into the hook. If it's that way around, we know that it hasn't. And sometimes these can spin, so it's important to check. So what we do is we get all of our panels, all of our tiles taken out, where we've got a rafter in the roof. We've got all these different fixing points to use our Van der Valk fixing screws. And the reason I like these hooks is they're really solid, but also we've got a movement position here. We can move where this arm is on the hook as well, but we can move the height of this bit of the arm. So if we've got a really chunky tile where this sits, then we can raise this, or if we've got a thin tile, we can drop it. So we've got that bit of flexibility there, as well as a rail position flexibility just here as well. So the rail fixes to this hook by this T-bolt going into this slot here. Once it's in, you then twist it, and that is then locked in position, obviously, once you've tightened that nut up. You tighten that nut up, and then that is in position and it's locked in place. Once we've got all of our rail on and leveled across all the hooks, we've got these mid clamps. So these are the Van der Valk mid clamps. I like these as well because it's only a 10mm gap, so it means that you haven't got huge gaps in between your panels. These drop into place and then twist like that, and then once they're in, you can kind of move them around. Then we've got a T30 head on here, which then clamps these down. So there'll be a panel here and the panel here, so these are mid clamps. We've then got these end clamps, which work very similar. So, but these only clamp down on one side. T30 head on it, and it locks in at the back. So depending on what your depth of your panel is, you've got a big range there of what size panel you can fit these with. But ours are usually 30mm, which is around there, and then that drives down and clamps that panel to the rail and locks it all in place. So yeah, that's the Van der Valk Strongline system that we use. I absolutely love this system. It's absolutely rock solid, which is what we want when we're fitting things to people's roofs.